Hey everyone, and welcome back to SH English Story. Imagine this. You are living in one of the most economically dynamic and technologically advanced regions on the planet. Your cities are gleaming, your industries are global leaders, and the wealth of your area is at an all-time high. But at the same time, the number of people getting married is plummeting, and the birth rate has fallen to a level that few could have imagined just a generation ago. This isn't a dystopian fantasy, it's the stark reality facing millions of young people across East Asia today. We're talking about areas like South Korea, China, and Taiwan, where despite incredible economic success, the institution of marriage is in crisis. What's driving this seismic shift? Is it just about money, or is something deeper changing in the hearts and minds of a generation? Today, we're going to dive deep into this fascinating and complex social phenomenon, exploring why East Asia's youth are choosing to put marriage on hold and what this means for the future of their societies and the world. For a long time, the traditional family structure was a cornerstone of East Asian societies. Marriage was not just a personal choice, it was a societal expectation, a foundational step into adulthood. But as a new generation has come of age, this long-held tradition has been put to the test. Across East Asia, a clear and undeniable trend has emerged. A profound skepticism toward marriage, rooted primarily in an overwhelming financial burden. For many, the dream of a family is being crushed under a mountain of costs, making marriage feel less like a celebration of love and more like a daunting economic transaction. Nowhere is this more apparent than in South Korea. There is a common observation that the cost of a wedding ceremony alone can be a massive financial burden. This isn't just about a lavish party. It's about a culture of showing off, where weddings become a status symbol, an event where couples feel pressured to spend vast sums of money to impress guests and relatives. On top of this, the financial pressure extends to an extensive list of gifts for family members and, most critically, the immense cost of purchasing a home. Unlike Japan, where some rental options once provided a middle ground, many young Koreans face the immediate and daunting prospect of buying property. These combined expenses make it an almost impossible task without substantial financial support from parents, a fact that deepens class disparity and pushes marriage further out of reach for many. There has been a dramatic decline in marriage intentions among young people, a powerful indicator that the perceived cost of marriage is no longer worth the benefit. In China, a similar financial weight exists, but with a unique cultural twist. There, a custom involving a substantial betrothal gift is often a prerequisite for marriage. This is a large sum of money that the groom's family gives to the bride's parents. While it's meant to be a gesture of gratitude and respect, it has evolved into a major financial hurdle for young men and their families. This custom, combined with the societal expectation that a groom must own a house and a car before marriage, creates a challenging economic environment. The financial pressures in both Korea and China suggest that for a growing number of young people, marriage is no longer seen as a natural part of life's journey, but a luxury only a privileged few can afford. The challenges, however, extend far beyond just money. A new generation's values, priorities, and views on relationships are also fundamentally changing. This is particularly evident in Taiwan, where many express the view that the benefits of marriage are few and women's independence has grown exponentially. For many young women in this region who are well educated and have stable careers, the traditional roles and expectations of marriage simply don't fit with their modern lifestyles. They question the purpose of marriage and the disruption it might bring to their personal and professional lives. This shift isn't unique to Taiwan. It's a growing sentiment across East Asia. In both Korea and China, a large number of young people express a deep skepticism towards marriage as an institution. They believe it's an outdated system, a financial arrangement that can disrupt their carefully cultivated work-life balance and individual happiness. Many say they are perfectly content with their current lives and their partners, and see no compelling reason to change the status quo. The fear of being forced to have children they don't want, the hassle of wedding preparations, and the legal complexities of divorce all contribute to a collective feeling that marriage might simply not be worth the trouble. As many people express, if there are few advantages and no disadvantages to staying unmarried, then my current position is better. China offers an even more striking example of this pragmatic, almost strategic approach to marriage. Due to real estate purchasing restrictions in major cities like Shanghai and Beijing, where you often need a local household registration to buy property, some young people use marriage as a strategic tool. By marrying someone with local registration, they can gain access to the real estate market. This has led to the rise of conversations on dating apps and social media that are more about a potential partner's place of origin than their personality. While these strategic marriages may be a minority, their existence highlights how the institution of marriage has become intertwined with survival and economic strategy in a highly competitive society, far removed from the romantic ideals of previous generations. Given these immense financial and social pressures, it's no surprise that young people are becoming incredibly selective about their life partners. The search for a spouse has evolved from a quest for love into a very practical search for economic stability and security. A common observation on preferred occupations for a spouse paints a clear and fascinating picture of this shift across different regions. In South Korea, the ideal spouse is a professional like a doctor, lawyer, or professor, or a high-ranking employee at a large corporation, known as a chaebol, the family-owned conglomerates that dominate the economy. These positions aren't just valued for their high salaries, they are prized for the generous welfare benefits they provide, which are seen as essential for raising a family. Many large Korean corporations offer perks that can include financial support for children's university tuition, graduate school, and even study abroad. In this context, a company's benefits package is seen as a key asset in the marriage market, a direct response to the massive costs of child-rearing. This trend is echoed in Taiwan, where the traditional jade palanquin of marrying a doctor has been replaced by a more modern equivalent, marrying a semiconductor engineer. In this particular region, with a high-tech industry dominated by companies like TSMC, these engineers command very high annual salaries and excellent welfare benefits, making them a very attractive and stable choice in an uncertain economic climate. Meanwhile, in China, the most popular occupation for a spouse is a civil servant. Even though salaries for civil servants may not be the highest, they offer unparalleled stability, strong welfare benefits, and no risk of being laid off, which is a major concern in China's competitive job market, where it's not uncommon for people to be laid off in their late 30s. This collective shift towards seeking a financially secure and stable partner, rather than just an emotionally compatible one, is a powerful indicator of the times. It's a pragmatic and almost defensive approach to marriage, born out of a desire to create a safe harbor in a world perceived as economically perilous. Young people are not giving up on the idea of a family. They are simply being highly selective and strategic in their pursuit of one, demanding a level of security that past generations may have taken for granted. The decline in marriage rates and the shift in attitudes in these regions are not just isolated social phenomena. They are the early warning signs of a profound demographic crisis with far-reaching consequences. These trends are directly tied to the issue of low birth rates and rapid population aging, and the numbers are especially severe in Korea, China, and Taiwan, even when compared to Japan's already serious situation. This demographic domino effect could have a devastating impact on the future. A shrinking workforce will place an immense strain on social welfare systems, as fewer young people are available to support a rapidly growing elderly population. It could also act as a brake on economic growth, as consumer markets shrink and a shortage of skilled labor becomes a critical issue for industries. This is not a problem that can be solved with simple solutions. Many people express that while they may still have a desire to marry, they feel mentally and economically unready. The problem is deeply rooted in both economic realities and a fundamental change in individual values. Young people are no longer willing to accept the social pressures and financial burdens of marriage and child-rearing unless they see clear and tangible benefits. They are questioning the very purpose of marriage as a system and prioritizing their own happiness and professional development over traditional societal expectations. For them, a good life is no longer synonymous with getting married and having children. In conclusion, what we are witnessing across East Asia is not just a statistical trend, it's a social revolution. The regions of South Korea, China, and Taiwan are at a critical juncture, facing a future where their populations are rapidly aging and their traditional family structures are being redefined. This phenomenon serves as a powerful global warning for other developed areas. As societies become wealthier and individuals gain more independence, the allure of marriage as a social and economic necessity diminishes. The challenge now for governments and corporations is to create a society where marriage and parenthood are not just a luxury, but a truly viable and attractive option for a generation that has grown deeply skeptical of the old ways. The future of East Asia, and perhaps the world, hinges on how these societies choose to respond to this great awakening.